Very good morning, all of you. Today we'll start our fourth unit, which is stability analysis and frequency domain. So let's see the contents. So this unit is also divided into two parts. The first part belongs to the polar and Nyquist plots criteria. So we will use the frequency analysis as we have seen in the third unit, second section, right? For the Bode plots and all. So we will use the same analysis. We will calculate the phase margin and gain margin, and we will draw the polar and Nyquist plots. So the first part contains the uh, and next the second part of the fourth unit comes with the compensation techniques. Here we will have three type of compensation techniques: lag compensation, lead compensation, and the lag lead compensation based. So these three types of controllers will be designed in the frequency domain only. And finally, we'll conclude this chapter with the PID controllers. So completely this unit deals under frequency domain only. That's why this unit is named as a stability analysis in frequency domain. Okay, so the first part we will concentrate on Nyquist and polar plots, and the next part we will concentrate on compensation techniques and the controllers design. So coming to the first concept of today's class is the polar plots. So the polar plots are also very similar to the Bode plots, but the main difference between polar plots and the Bode plots is the polar plots are plotted in the polar graph and also in the linear graph. Uh, Generally, the representation of polar plots or any complex number, of course, this is the frequency domain, which is j omega domain. Frequency domain is also called as j omega domain. This j represents the complex number, right? So for any complex number, we will have a magnitude and with an angle. Suppose if you consider impedance, so Z is the impedance. So impedance can be represented in the complex form as R plus Jx. In the complex form as R plus Jx, where R is the resistance, X is the reactance. Okay, so the impedance can be calculated in the polar form as mod of Z, where Z is the R plus Jx. So the impedance can be calculated as R plus Jx. So R plus Jx is a rectangular form, rectangular coordinate system. And this can be calculated in the polar form as mod Z as the magnitude of this impedance, and theta is the angle of impedance. Generally, this mod Z is nothing but square root of real part and real part square plus reactive part square. So the real part square is R square and the reactive part square is the X square. So this is the magnitude of the impedance, which is mod Z. Similarly, we can also calculate this theta, where this theta can be written as tan inverse of y by x, or simply imaginary value by real value. Theta is nothing but y by x, which is imaginary value by real value. Here the imaginary value is x and the real value is r. So these are the formulas we can use to convert the real complex value into the polar value. Of course, we have seen these conversions in the mathematics as well as in the network analysis subject. So we can represent any complex number in the form of a rectangular coordinate system or in the form of a polar coordinate system. So in the polar plots also, we can plot the polar graph in the polar graph sheet. in the polar graph sheet. In the maybe in the next class, I'll show what is the polar graph sheet and how it will look like. And we can also plot the polar graph using this rectangular system also, because we can represent the system, complex system, in the polar coordinates or in the rectangular coordinates, just like we have seen these two you can see here. So this polar coordinate system can be drawn in the polar graph. This rectangular coordinate system can be drawn in the normal linear graph. And we can calculate the phase margin, gain margin, and stability of the system with this polar graph also. So the process is more or less similar to the Bode plot. So we will see that also in the next class. Okay, and now you can see here a figure that represents the simple polar graphing structure, and this polar graph is represented in the polar forms, right, which is magnitude, gain margin, and the second one is phase angle, phase margin. So these two can be represented, and you can see this a circle is plotted with the magnitude of unity for obtaining the polar graphs. So, and you can see this is the general magnitude representation, which is the radius of the circle. So the radius of the circle represents the magnitude, and you can see the angle here, the angle which is making with the 0 degrees line, the angle which is making with the 0 degrees line. So this angle is called as a phase angle representation. Okay, so the radius is the magnitude, and the angle of this magnitude making with a 0 axis line, 0 degrees line, is the phase angle. So this is how we can represent the polar form in the polar graph sheets. Of course, maybe in the next class, if you solve the polar problems, then you can come to a clear view how to draw and how to determine these phase angle and gain, gain margin and phase margin of the polar graphs. Okay, but you have to remember here the angles. You can see here from 0.0 degree angle onwards, two directions will be there. One is anti-clockwise direction. So if we go in the anti-clockwise direction, then we can place the angle with the sign of positive. Okay, so from 0 degrees, you can travel 90 degrees, we will get the y coordinate, and we have traveled in anti-clockwise direction. So that's why the y coordinate angle will be plus 90 degree. And in the same way, if you travel like this, at we will at 180, after 180 degree, we will get plus 180. And in the same way, we'll get plus 270, and we will come back to 0 or plus 360. 360 or 0 will be the same. So we will reach the same point where we started. So this is the direction of anti-clockwise. In the same way, we can also travel in the clockwise also. So clockwise means from 0 degrees to downwards. How the clock will rotate, that shows the clockwise direction, right? So this is the clock direction, and from 0 to, if you travel the clockwise direction, then the angle will be minus. If you travel in anti-clockwise, the angle will be plus. The angle will have plus symbol. If you travel in anti-clockwise direction, the angle will have minus symbol. So you can go like this. So you can see after 90 degree, you will have minus 90 degree. And after 180 degree, you can see minus 180 degree. And in the same way, after 270 degree, you can see minus 270 is drawn here, given here. And after 360, then we will reach to our destination point, which is 0 degree. So we can place the angle in the clockwise direction or in the anti-clockwise direction. So depends upon the clockwise and anti-clockwise direction only, we can determine the angles. Signs of the angles, whether it has to be positive sign or it has to be negative sign. Anything can be represented. And you can see plus 90 is equal to minus 270. So you can write minus 270 or plus 90. Similarly, plus 180 can also be minus 180, and 90 can also be minus 90, and 0 can also be 360. So you can represent in any of the way, either of the way we can represent. You can go through in the anti-clockwise direction, or you can choose clockwise direction.